Hello again. Welcome to the attic where all the stuff happens. I'm going to play another speeded up sequence of me drawing a panel from Venna's Planet Volume 3, which is the last one, which I'm working on now. And I'm hoping to get it done towards the end of the year, but it's getting really complicated and I'm making so much work for myself, apart from kind of living a life. Anyway, we're working as hard as we can at it. I am. And so just to show that I am doing things, here's another panel. I just said all that stuff, didn't I? Never mind, say it again. If only I could work as fast as I appear to be working in this sequence, I might have better luck with this. This has been speeded up. The speed has been increased to the factor of 6. So what will take, I think, about 9 minutes here took 6 9 54, 54, about best part of an hour to draw. This is going to be in 2 parts because it is either a case of either speeding it up again, which just makes it absolutely crazy and frantic, or just break it up into 2 bits. So I'll get to a bit and then we stop. Now there's quite a bit of fast movement here because I'm zooming in and out and just trying to find out where I am. And when I do that and when I pan around the panel, it looks horrible on here at this speed. Anyway, going into Sol's face. Now Sol is a character that was there from day one. I mean, we're talking about 38 years ago when I first started working on this, and I had a different title. And she's sort of the lost girl, or she's a bright young woman with a sense of humour, and she just takes stuff as it comes. But she's got her feelings though, and she's got a strong sense of morality. In fact, I will say that most of what you call the good characters in this do have quite a strong sense of morality. I mean, yeah, they have their faults and their prejudices, but basically they mean to do well. Sol started out. This dress is actually quite a long dress in the last book, and about halfway through that book, she tore the bottom part off because she had to do something which didn't involve, in which a long dress would not have been a practical garment. And that's what she's been walking around in ever since. She's doing better than her boyfriend. Behind her there is Clayton, who just seems to have underpants on. So if anybody says to me, "Oh, sexist because there's girls in bikinis," meh, meh, meh. Yeah, well, there's Clayton here in his underpants, so shut up. And he doesn't appear very much, I must admit, and I don't enjoy drawing him as much as I enjoy drawing the girls. I don't care. I really do not care. I'm past trying to be nice about all this stuff. So yeah, he's just the ordinary. He's just pretty much ballast, really. I mean, you can't just have a bunch of girls. You have to have some fellows in it. So he does his heroic things now and again. And here they're about to escape and get away from the baddies. He's in his underpants because they were going to operate on him and do stuff to him, and saw his arm off and all kinds of horrible things while he was conscious, because that's what bad people do. And that was Jylda. And she's really horrible. She's worse than the Countess. She's worse than Jylda, because she doesn't like Venna at all. I mean, at least Jylda has an admiration for Venna, and she likes her physically, and she wants her. She likes her and she wants her. Dortha hates her. Dortha's a horrible old battle axe. Shouldn't use those expressions. There we go. Now here we are. This is an overhead view, and so I've drawn all the rough grey outlines so I can see where I'm going with this. But there'll be lots of bits of detail and shading which will go in, you hope. So there's an overhead view of Professor Grust, and that's the resident mad scientist. But there's more to him than meets the eye. And there is Jylda going in, and they're being held up by Dortha here. Now Dortha she was one of the security people, and she's been playing merry hell with the goodies since she first appeared. She gloated while Venna's girlfriend Shelley was being tortured. She got into a furious fight with Venna at the end of the last one, And it turns out that she had a special way of beating Venna, which went back to them being when they were sort of young adults, you know, that she'd figured out a way because she got in with a very complicated story, but she figured out a way that she could always subdue Venna. But because something happens in here, she has a bit of a change of heart, and I don't know how long this would have lasted, quite honestly. I'm not going to say what happens. You might not have read the book 3 as it stands, but the same thing happens in this one, and well, we won't see any more than that. These overhead shots would be a bit tricky. I did use a 3D program. I use it for quite a lot for these things, just to map out the characters, just to get the angles right, and sometimes to get the lighting right. So I can create that as a 3D model, and then excuse me, use that as reference. Here's a close-up of Jylda. Jylda is probably one of the oldest characters, apart from Grust, in this, and her boyfriend is the nasty tough guy, Filius Nullius. Joking name, Filius Nullius. And the reason she's older than him is because they were the same age apparently at one stage, and he did something heinous and got put into a deep freeze thing, or a certain kind of hibernation unit, and she didn't. So she aged while he didn't. So he was in there for like 30 years during the time they were in transit to this planet, and then at some stage she she left. Excuse me. And she's been living on the planet in this disused research base with this guy, Grust. This is Professor Grust. As I say, there's a backstory which we're going to come to towards the end of this book. I didn't touch on it very much in fact, really at all in my previous versions, but things are going to be revealed now as to who he is, and that if you have the current volume 1 of this new colour set, there is a clue about him in there somewhere, and it's not in a scene in which he appears. So if you've read it, and if you've read every little detail, you'll see something which might be a clue, but you've really got to look hard. It's tucked away in there. So Grust is, as far as we know, as far as anybody knows, he's just a scientist who likes working on crazy projects. If somebody says, "Oh, we want to, saw somebody's arm off and graft it onto somebody else," he'll just say, "Well, okay, that's an interesting project," and he'll do it. He's not evil. He just has no real. He's not interested in right or wrong. He really isn't. When we first see him, they're preparing to do something horrible to Shelley, which is to sort of roast her under some kind of new neuron, some sort of neural ray, some sort of neural agitator, and he says, yeah, okay, he's not interested in it. He's not interested. I mean, somebody, I won't go into it, but he's not interested in torturing people. He's not interested in girls being undressed. He's only interested in science. He's only interested in what he's doing at that time. So he's pretty reprehensible in that respect, that he has no conscience. It's not interesting to him. If somebody gets their arm cut off, or somebody's being tortured because of something he's working on, or something for some reason or other, he'll just say, well, I guess that can be done. Just say in a posher voice than that. Anyway, we've got a side view here of Jylda. She's got her hands raised. We don't know yet. You might know. I know. We don't know yet what's going to happen, because Dortha's pointing a gun at her. And I've already rewritten this. I might rewrite it again, but it's implied that Dortha wants to put her under the roasty machine before she goes. But there's not a lot of time to do that. I might delete that conversation. I don't think that whole thing really works too well. So, but it's just one of these things that is the villainous mind. The reason that villains, certainly in fiction, fail it's because they have these flaws. You know, they get an idea about something and they want to do it, and they don't really think things through properly. So I've changed Dortha's outfit from the first version of from the black and white version. There was a lot more midriff showing in that one, which is nice, but I decided to change it again. I think maybe I consider I have a midriff quotient, and if I overdo it, then you think, oh, you know, he's clearly obsessed. Yes, I am. But you have to make sure that it just doesn't look like, oh god, the same old thing again, the same outfits, you know. So I try to look like there's more than one designer at work. We seem to be at the end of the sequence now. There will be more later. In the meantime, don't forget, volumes 1 and 2 are available from Amazon or your favourite online marketplace. But why am I telling you this? You've already got them. Thank you for watching and listening.